Hello, everyone. So here is Moonlight Soul and Marissa from Growing the Flow, and we meeting for the first episode for the year 2026, but we technically recording this at the end of 2025. So welcome, Marissa.
Hello, Happy New Year almost from where we sit, but we're coming to you from the past and projecting into the future where it is 2026. So here we are, ready to kick off a new year of stars and cards.
With episode 45, we just after
45.
49.
So the nine energy still sticks with us as we step over the threshold into a new 1 year back to the beginning, right? So I am very curious to see what's going to come up for us today as we dip our toe into this new calendar year.
Well, yeah, because then we're gonna have a new lunar year in February. This the horse, right? We'll replace the snake, and then in March we're gonna have a new astrological year. So I guess that's why there is still a little bit of a nine present with us. We are still culminating the old energies for the first 2.5, 3 months of the year.
Yeah, and even as we're talking here, we're talking on the new moon in Sagittarius. So, it's interesting because it's starting a new cycle that takes us into the new year. So even though we're ending 1 year and we're still continuing through this cycle that begins here. So I'm interested to see what's coming up with the lunations of January. So I guess right off the out of the gate we have a full moon in Cancer,
That's
right?
right. Yeah, on January 3rd we have a full moon in Cancer. So it's interesting these new paradoxical situations we've got going on here because of the double new moon in Virgo we experience in summer and beginning of fall, where we have the full moon first and the new moon second. And this might remind us of last year when we had the Capricorn situation with this because we had the full lunation in Capricorn. So yeah, so it's interesting how we are exiting the year of nine with a new moon, and I really have to remind myself every time I'm talking about lunations that, oh, this is a new moon because somehow I thought Gemini was the new moon and that Sagittarius is the full moon. So let's see how we feel about this Cancer. And then obviously we will have the Capricorn full moon, also Capricorn full moon, there you go, Capricorn new moon, also on 28 degrees, which is the pattern we've been observing since the new moon in Libra until the new moon in Aries. So it's all these number 10s, the 28 degrees, the number 10s, and obviously entering into the year number 10. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And then the 10 becomes the 1, so it's endings and new beginnings all around, even if it feels late to us in terms of when it appears. So let's do that. Let's see what our lunations look like with the Queen of the Moon. We have our cards here. We're going to reveal for all of us. I don't know yet. Oh, boundaries coming
Oh,
forward.
that's a good one for Capricorn season.
Yeah. Let me take a look and see what number is it. Oh, it's number 12. So it's card 12, and we have the energy of boundaries coming through here to start off the year. And interesting because I always think with these cards where they're not wearing any clothing, that it's like a sensitivity and a vulnerability and an authenticity of just sort of being, she's in this bubble. So with that boundary, there is a sense of protectedness, but at the same time, um, there's a lot of authentic expression in there going on.
Yeah, to me, this really represents like the new us. We are being reborn. I mean, 12 in major arcana, of course, is the hanged man, which is Neptune. It's like Pisces. The ending of the cycle. The 12. We have the 12 signs, the 12 months in a year. So it is kind of like culminatory energy. So and also because we are in the final cardinal season of this astrological year, Capricorn season, this is where the manifestation, the gestation has ended. The manifestation is here of that 9 months process that began in Aries season. So you can see this girl is pretty much hatched. She's almost there, but she's got still this little layer. She's fully formed, but
Membrane.
still has this
Yeah.
little layer. Like, okay, well, here I am. I'm birthing the new version of myself, but it's not the same as I was. So I need to, kind of be okay. Okay, I need to learn to, like you said, protect this vulnerability of my new self, my new expression with boundaries. And this actually is something that allows for more to come rather than to keep it away. It's like it allows the right things to come, and it says no to the things that are no longer in resonance. So yeah, I like what I started with, that it is very good card for the Capricorn season, boundaries.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was gonna say she's in her birthday suit. It's a expression of like, yeah, you're coming in how you were born in your birthday suit. So it is, there's this rebirth. But I like the fact that it is sort of they're porous boundaries in terms of we're still allowing things through, but with discernment. So it seems a little bit more from a position of authority in terms of I'm the gatekeeper in deciding what's coming in, what's going out, how I'm expressing myself and how I'm engaging things. And on the outside there's a flower, just on the outside here, that there's this sense of, and I don't know, it looks almost like a
With
magnolia
lotus.
or something. Yeah, I was thinking it was a lotus shape, but it's white. But there is this sense of the white, the clean slate, because we give the intention to a calendar year, that the notion that when we move from the 12th month and then we turn the calendar into a new year, in that sense, that imbuing it with that energy gives it that sense of a new beginning or some sort of fresh start or a clean slate or just being born, so there is this sense of sort of moving through that the way you might as a newborn, in delicate, but also arriving with everything that they need in terms of their ability to acclimate to their environment, so it feels like that's something that we have an opportunity to tap into um in the way that, and I guess with Cancer too, in terms of the emotional fragility, there is also a sense of like there's so much emotion churning, as we're winding down this year and preparing for January, kind of allowing all of that to settle too is everything that gets churned up. And that could take a bit, might not just all be in the first couple weeks
And the
or
family,
months.
right? For Cancer, the family, like everybody obviously experiencing probably a healthy dose, of, healthy or not, healthy dose of that at Christmas time. So, yeah, just like you said, we start in the year with the Cancer full moon, but, having kind of like feeling like, well, it's the first lunation, of the new year. So it feels like a new moon kind of. So we are birthing this new version of ourselves that we seeded in summer, right? When we was the new moon in Cancer, and we have Jupiter now retrograde in Cancer, so obviously affected by this lunation and ruled by the moon. So we are expanding, we are growing, we have more clarity with regards to who we want to become, where we want to go since summer when we had that first experience of Uranus in Gemini, especially. And funny fact, we are entering into 2026 with Moon in Gemini. So it's all about timelines and choices and all the rest of it. But yeah, I feel that this is really good card for, well, January, and Cancer full moon, Capricorn new moon is perfect. Like, I mean, literally, if there was a perfect card to describe these two relations, is this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that moves through the month. And we'll bring in the tarot energy with it to kind of just see what's lining up there. Starting with right out the gate, the beginning. So here we go. We arrive into the new year.
Oh,
The
cool.
a five. So this is the Five of Wands, right? But this one, interestingly, being called the obstacles and challenges, um, it's a little shaky, in terms of getting our footing, getting our bearings, coming into this new year and sort of, unpacking, decompressing from everything that just came to pass. Or not, still bringing some of that in, because we do see, I like this version because yes, our stirring card of stirring the poop, of getting down into the muck in terms of, the competitive energy and the one-upmanship and all of that. But this one does give me the vibes of like, I always say it's like an Indiana Jones bridge. It's one of those like obstacle courses where, I can't see from the other side, or this sense of I've got to jump over that. And it's rather trepidatious. Like, I don't want to miss that shot and fall. But
Hmm.
all these orbs around really feel like how protected, how guided we really are, whether we're seeing it or not. But I think it's suggesting that it might become many people are tapping into that and really having a sense of that. Because I was actually going to say about this one, it reminds me of sometimes they say, getting in bubble wrap, so that,
Mhm.
you go into something, delicately, that you wrap yourself in bubble wrap to, and so all these bubbles or orbs all around are kind of giving me this sense of guidance and protection, even while what meets the eye and what we're stepping into is rather trepidatious.
Hmm. Yeah, and because obviously after the five of wands, the six of wands follows, which is the victory and success, right? So, like you said, that many times you look at this card of like what needs to be stirred up to come to the surface in order to get us there, right? Because that's then the Leo card, well, the Leo frequency of the wands, where it's like, okay, now what do you want to create? What new expression you want to create? What is your authentic expression that got unrevealed by these situations? So yeah, with regards to this particular card and all the orbs being around it, and like it's kind of like she's like stepping into some kind of void or something, the circle like going down, going somewhere. So I feel that this is like all these external elements, with the potentially people situations, like chaotic energy five, are bringing stuff up. They bring in stuff up from whatever is there hiding that will then lead us further onto that six of wands, as a sequence, that what is that thing that you want to achieve, what you want to create, what you want to enjoy. And yeah, I feel still like the connection to this first card, the boundaries, this also creates an opportunity to establish boundaries, like where sometimes we don't know that this is something that I need to protect until people cross the boundaries, until things come up, until we get triggered. And then like, oh, this is something I'm working on, struggling with, vulnerable, da da da. So obviously, because of my personal plans, I'm like, yeah, I can see how this might potentially play out, five of wands. But like, yeah, post Christmas, post New Year celebrations and everything, I'm sure there'll be plenty of triggering and stirring for everyone. But as always, everything serves, everything serves. And when you look at the other aspect of Capricorn, that stepping into your authority, redefining like what it is that I want to create and experience. And if I don't change that, which I can change because we cannot change everything or control everything, but there are things that we can. And if I don't do anything about it, then who will? So these five of wands people are helping, right? Not necessarily in a way that we enjoy, but I mean, everything serves.
Yeah, and that's a great point because I think I often kind of slow my own roll about the Five of Wands if I just say, yeah, I'm stirring the poop, competitions, stepping on whoever. But yet the positive side of competition in terms of inspiration, of being inspired by seeing what other people are doing, or maybe even, experiencing something where there's a clash, but that contrast is showing me, for me, what works and what doesn't, and then I can lay that boundary. But first, I have to see it. I have to experience something other on the outside of the bubble in order to determine exactly where the perimeter of that bubble is stretching and what's on one side and what's on the other. And that can change. That's kind of what I was feeling with the porous, or allowing them to be malleable, that they can move, because also with this being the five, we're in transition. This is not the final destination. We're still in the process of crossing over from 2025 energy to 2026, and it's going to take at least until the Lunar New Year, for that to really start to lay that groundwork into 2026. So that's where I'm feeling, it's sort of step lightly, but also step boldly, step confidently, in terms of I trust that every step I'm taking is informing me. It's showing me what's available, what this is magician energy, what works, what doesn't. And I work with it. And the wands is the alchemy. It's using all of that energy in order to bring something into matter. So we're on the way, but we're just stepping into it. So it is shaky and it's not clear, but yet we are protected and being guided. So step confidently, but also boundaries definitely coming in here for the path forward, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And
So
yeah, this is
let's
around the
see.
time of the full moon in Cancer. So that which you are becoming is very likely not the perfect match to that which you wear. So, things will be illuminated to us, especially post these familial dynamics with people who likes to keep us in a box of like, hey, how much you've changed? This is who you wear. How come you like this now? Blah, blah, blah. Because when you change, everybody around you has to change, right? Or, has to change the role they play or have to exit your stage. So there are a lot of choices people can take, and we cannot choose for them. But yeah, I just feel that this is a lot of people in energy, where people will, through, like you said, contrast, show us is this in resonance or not? Because how would we know what is wanted if we never experience what's unwanted? So, yeah, watch this space. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. And then as we continue forward, I'll bring up the next card. Okay, new beginning. So now it's like, here's the one. Here is the Ace of Cups flowing in here. And it's funny because do you see the water at the bottom on this card? Like in
Yeah,
between here, there's water running down there. And I almost feel like this Valhalla might be what's, on the other beneath all of these, obstacles and challenges. Through the obstacles and challenges, love begins. So there's a new beginning flowing forward here, and there's a beautiful rainbow. Um, so again, the stormy conditions and the tumultuous steps ultimately paving the way for greater flow and fluidity into the feels, And so now on the other side of that Cancer full moon, uh, love begins.
yeah. I think this is perfect, and it is the mid-month, um, post-Cancer full moon, well, more or less coming towards the Capricorn new moon, Capricorn new moon. Okay.
I don't know why this really feels like it's supposed to be called a new moon.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, this I've been struggling with this for at least 2 months now, where every new moon I want to call it the full moon, and every full moon I want to call it the new moon. So there is something in that. But yeah, the Capricorn new moon on January 18th, because it is about, well, it's only like not far from Neptune re-entering Aries, which is happening at the end of January. Let me look exactly what day. January 26th. So already in Aquarius season, Neptune will re-enter Aries, and then of course subsequently Saturn in February, and then they'll have the conjunction right after the eclipse, the first one in Aquarius. So definitely, like you said, watch the space for February. There'll be a lot happening, not just the lunar year kicking off, but the eclipses as well, and the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. So this is about, well, what do you want to begin? Because it is the cups. What is your heart telling you that you desire? Especially post these five of wands situations, that it ignites a desire. Like you said, through the unwanted. Like, what do I actually want? What do I actually desire? What do I want to manifest? What do I want to create? So with the Ace of Cups, that there is a beautiful opportunity to connect with the emotions and decide that this is how I want to feel. This is what I would like more of. And yeah, there is this rainbow, on the horizon. Yeah, we might get to this 10 of Pentacles maybe this year, maybe sometime in the future, or 10 of Cups, 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, all of it. But any journey starts with the first step. So that's what I feel like, in the mid-January, in preparation for this full moon, new moon in Aquarius, in Capricorn, new moon in Capricorn.
I mean, it's all
It's all the same
where are
anyway,
we? What's happening?
like the story is just building up, through different facets, but the story is taking us to certain destination, which is this new way of experiencing reality. And everybody wants to feel happy and abundant and loved, like we all might feel that there are different things that we might think there are different things that are going to make us feel that way, but in essence, more or less, most people are desiring the same state of being, the sense that they want to feel the same way. So with the Ace of Cups, I think it's indicating that, okay, we are starting this process. Neptune is just about to go back to Pisces, Aries.
Mm. And also just like one drop at a time, like as we pour into the greater body here of water, it's all in the sauce. It's all in the mix. So when we think about emotions and we allow them to flow through us and we don't get stuck. This water isn't stagnant, it's flowing. So if flowing up ahead of me is the vibration of frustration or, a lack or something like a lower vibrational emotion, so be it. It's a part of the whole and it's integral into this whole process. So I love the visual of the water because it really feels like we get to set the tone for infusing into that water, which is what's coming from the bowl or the chalice that we're co-creating. And so we're setting the tone with the how do I want to feel? Again, we're being reminded that when it comes to, manifestation and putting our desires out there and our big dreams, that finding that sweet spot between being uber specific and controlling of the exact pathway that it's taking versus focusing on the feeling, not so much, the very nitty-gritty specifics, because that's the part that we're being invited into partnership with the universe to co-create, coming together in this way that we're pouring from this vessel with our intention of the emotions and the feels that we want to pour into it. So that makes us a little bit more conscientious about what we're putting out there too. Because if you think about this beautiful crystal clear stream, I'm not going to go pour a bunch of yucky muck in there. I want to come in the frequency of joy and, feeling this sense of what do I want to experience? And that's what I'm bringing to the table. And then I'm pouring that in and allowing that to flow forward. So it's sort of putting us into that seat as, yes, I'm the manifester, I'm the magician, bringing all of my tools to the table and using them, and then allowing the universe to respond in kind, as above, so below. So feeling that with that energy flowing in too.
Yeah, I feel that's very much. And I'm like just looking at the colors there, the yellow, with the solar plexus and the sacral chakra, like having the confidence, having the belief that I can create this, that I can make it happen. I don't know how, I don't know the details, but I feel somehow that maybe the Cancer season in summer, because of course by that point we'll have all the planets in the new signs, even Chiron will be in Taurus. So I'm feeling that perhaps in the Cancer season or summer for us in the northern hemisphere, there'll be much more clarity with regards to this process that we are stepping into. That we are just at the beginning of the journey. And like it's funny that all these mistakes that dropping on my tongue with the new moon in Aquarius and stuff, but perhaps it really is the eclipses that are going to fully kickstart this energy. Who knows? Because at the end of the day, we still have the Pisces season to get through to truly culminate these energies. We are still in the snake here until we reset with the horse. I believe it's the full moon in Leo. I think it's about the same time. So we are still shedding the old skin. We're still shedding the old programs, the conditioning. Jupiter is still in retrograde mode until March 10th and in Cancer until the end of June. So, that's what I feel like. Cancer season, that's where we really might have more clarity, like what was all this about.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're just flowing forward, and really, it's really about intention and what we're setting there as we move forward and see what comes out on the other end. So let's look at our last tarot energy.
Ooh.
Ah, okay. So this would be the end of January, the Capricorn card showing up, but we have this sense of the devil coming in with temptation. So it's a 15-6 energy to bring in some balance from all the rainbow and the light here. Um, well, it's interesting because we said like whenever you initiate a change or start something new, you're going to get pulled back into temptation for the same old, the familiar, the comfort zone, or what's easy. This lines right up with so many people, January, New Year's resolutions, and everybody's at the gym on January 2nd and it's packed. And then by the end of the month, all the equipment is available because everybody's skipping out now, you know? So it feels like, even just from a 3D perspective, those devil-like tendencies, the temptation comes around because how long does it take for a new habit? You know, they say it takes so long
21
for you
days.
to,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, we get right around that time and we might start getting a little itchy, there can be this sense of, now what does he have there? Is it like, what is his hand on, do you think? It's a
Looks like a
key.
key. Yeah.
Yeah, with the top of it being illuminated. Um, I've called that the easy button before because there was a commercial in the US. I think it was for Staples, an office supply, company, but it was
Okay, people, so it's just me because as you might have seen, Marissa's power went out, so everything just froze. So this is a very interesting episode of Stars and Cards. I did get a messages from her that the whole block is affected over where she is. And yeah, it's interesting that we were talking about the devil card. I can't tell you the anecdote that Marissa wanted to share, but Marissa recorded her little interpretation of what's going on her end. So we're going to try to put the things together and get it to you by the time you're watching this. Hopefully it's the final product. I'm just waiting to hear what was the last card. So actually I can give you my interpretation and close up this recording. However, we will be getting together again throughout January to talk deeper about this. But isn't that interesting that the lights go out when we're talking about devil at the end of the month, at the end of January, and that of course will be slowly but surely taking us into the eclipses. We still have the full moon in Leo at the beginning of February, I believe, but then of course the 17th of February will be the new moon in Aquarius, solar eclipse, the first one in the sign of Aquarius. And right before Saturn will move into the sign of Aries, right after we'll have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on the anaretic 0 degrees of Aries. So I feel somehow all of this is connected indeed. And yet, of course, the end of the month, end of January, we are already in Aquarius season, Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus still, still in a sign of Taurus at the moment. However, we are preparing for that Gemini, the splitting of the timelines and the splitting of the consciousness. So with regards to that card, I just wanted to share with you what Marissa shared with me. So as you would have seen the card on her screen, and then Marissa shared with me the picture, that this is what it looked like on her end. I'm trying to, not for you to see my ring light, this is how it looked on her end with the cards. You can see her laptop, there is no power, but the ring light, because it's powered by the laptop, is still on. And isn't that uncanny just how it looks exactly like the key here in the devil card, right? And I actually just went to speak to my husband and he pulled some cards with regards to this energy at the end of the month. And interestingly enough, he also pulled the devil. But prior to that, there was five of swords, six of swords, six of swords, seven of swords, eight of swords. So a lot of thoughts, a lot of communication, a lot of sense of disempowerment. Of course, like six of swords is moving into a calmer waters. However, we do have the five, right? Like, what are we being lied about? Also the eight, right? The nightmare, like the nightmare is more than nine, but it's like, where do we feel stuck? Like, somebody else is in charge. And of course, that's swords, that's a Gemini, right? The Gemini decan, the 8, 9, 10 of Gemini, right? 8, 9, 10 of swords is the Gemini frequency. So it's like all of these things that we will be presented with throughout 2026, which is the year number 10, which is the reset year, the 0 and the 1, the new beginning. We will be presented with the opportunity to choose something different, because of that which will be experienced will be very likely undesired no more. So let me just see. Marissa just sent me a message, so I want to see what was. Oh wow, perfect.
Well, hello. I'm coming in with a stars and cards first. I wanted to show you the view here from what happened with the disruption in our transmission of January stars and cards. The power went out here, which is highly unusual. We very rarely lose power here, gratefully. But I was speaking to this temptation card, the devil energy, for the end of January. When suddenly the lights went out, I was specifically referencing this button of lights at the top of the key. And this is what my view became as the power went out. This is my ring light, and it's being powered by my laptop, which is running on its battery. So Mila and I have been in communication. I don't know that we're going to be able to finish recording, and the time is fleeting in terms of our finishing it out. So I thought perhaps I could come in here and pull our final card so that we would have that, and maybe creatively can bring through, you know, what's coming up for each of us through this. So of course, in recapping what we had up on the screen for our lunations of January, the boundaries, the bubble, and then we had our Five of Wands, our Ace of Cups, and now this Devil energy. And it's just quite uncanny that the power goes out as I'm speaking to this Devil temptation card. I was just about to describe the reference to the easy button of, you know, the temptation to go back to what's easy, what's known, what's familiar, and lights out. So I'm gonna pull our Sacred Destiny card. That was to be our cap on the messages here to start off 2026 in episode 45. You see, all of this, you know, getting all the words mixed up, new moon, full moon, Capricorn, Aquarius, all the things is very interesting because it's very piecey. It's very just kind of all over the place and unformed in a way. So let me just see what we get from the Sacred Destiny, and then I can maybe creatively work with Mila to bring through our intuitive hits around this card. So let's just see what we get. Message for the collective and all who will tune in for the January energies of Stars and Cards, episode 45. Culminations and completions, endings through the 9 to the new beginnings. What do we have? Patience. Patience, but we wanted to record it today. So this is beautiful, this energy here, this card. And gosh, if that P word came up once, it's come up 1,000 times, hasn't it? You know, we always hear, wait for it, wait for it. This card is dense fog. Dense fog. So, in the light of my dwindling laptop battery, water represents our emotions, our feelings, our subconscious, and our nocturnal dreams. When the water becomes condensed as fog, we can't see clearly. Fog occurs when the air is cooled to the point at which it cannot hold all the water vapor it contains. Thus, it condenses water vapor, where it is suspended in the air as fog. We can't see what's ahead, and things that look one way in the fog will look another way in the light. However, when you can't perceive what's on the horizon in life, your imagination can surge forward and your sixth sense can be ignited. Wow. So, how things look in the light or the lack of light and everything in between with this dense fog. So maybe some things are not incredibly clear to us at this time in terms of what to expect with this devil energy. The sacred landscape wants you to know. In dense fog, it's best to be quiet and still. For now, don't go forward. Wait. It's hard to see what lies ahead, and things may not be as they seem. Things that seem one way may, in fact, be completely different. Be patient. The truth will emerge. In this state of obscured visibility, your imagination and intuition can be sparked. If you can wait long enough, your dreams and inner yearnings can come to fruition. Listen to your intuition and pay attention to those seemingly random thoughts. Well, I'm definitely tapping into some things here with this, you know, what's being stirred up, what's coming up. There has to be this settling period, you know, all of that water, even if we're pouring into something new and beautiful and crystalline and in its intention and its frequency, it changes the dynamic, right? That stream, as that water is pouring in, it's creating a ruckus, right? It's churning things up. It's bringing sediments up. It's bringing stuff up to the surface. It's moving things around that maybe haven't moved in some time. And so as that's happening, it can create that mucky murkiness where things aren't clear. We don't know. Everything's kind of swirling and whirling in a way. So I think it'll be very interesting. I mean, we said this numerous times in our recording, to watch this space, right? Hold, right? Hold it. Patience, breathe. Mila mentioned the Hanged Man because we were talking about the energy of 12, of card 12 in the tarot, the major arcana. So I'm getting chill. I feel like goosebumps. So I feel like this is definitely significant. I'm feeling like Mila and I are going to, mid-month, we're back to the drawing board about what we can do with our mid-month check-ins, because IG Live is no longer an option for us because Instagram has removed the ability to go live if you don't have 1,000 followers. And as hard as we work to put our love and light out into the world, unfortunately, it doesn't shine quite that far right at this moment. So we're not able to do our IG Live pop-ups right now. We're looking at alternative options, but I am feeling that we do need to watch this space and come back here at some midpoint, as things continue to move, to see kind of where things are. It's feeling like a chess game, like a long game about the pieces moving around. So what I'm thinking is, I'm leaving it here and I'm going to bounce it back to Mila and see if she wants to record a few thoughts. And then we can maybe stitch that into our stars and cards and have like the wildest, weirdest episode that we've ever had. So let's give it a shot. I'm going to leave it there and share with you one last time this patience card that, Mila, I'm sending your way now through the dense fog. What a wild way to kick off the year. But I thank you guys all for being here, and to my soul sis on the other end over there in the bright light, I'm going to send it over to you and see what your thoughts are, and maybe we'll just finish it out that way and then set the intention that we'll come back in some way, shape, or form, perhaps mid-month, to check in and see where things are at that moment. So sending much love. Many blessings to all, and Mila, take it away.
Okay, this is the craziest episode of Stars and Cards, the episode number 45, go and figure, number 9. So this is the Sacred Destiny card from the Denise Lynn that Marissa pulled out. It's called Patience. It's patience because obviously, but you can't see very much on this card, can you? It's kind of foggy, and this bird is going in certain direction. Obviously, we know that the birds, they follow their own inner compass, like their own inner guidance, where they're going. They navigated by their own inner system, right? And we can see that there is a full moon in here, which is again about clarification. It's about having potentially, you can even say it's a sun or a full moon. So this makes even more sense. Okay, so if you look at it from the perspective of the sun, and I'm sure that Marissa would have read what the descriptions say, but I just want to allow my own intuition over here. So if you allow for this to be the sun, so it's your own heart, it's your own fire that will guide you, in this world that might be at the moment very confusing and very foggy, especially coming into the year 2026, not knowing what's ahead of us. We know that, okay, this is a very significant year number 1. We started from the beginning. Eclipses are going to be moving into Aquarius, Leo, even though they're pretty shaken up over there, like mixed up. But anyway, staying on the point, we have all these planetary shifts and changes we've been talking about, and with the patient, this is going to take time because there is a complete reset of energies happening. So we are learning through these energies that we are experiencing, and God knows how exactly is this going to play out with the everything going dark at the end of January with regards to the devil card. We are learning to follow our own inner guidance, like the birds, through our heart, through the sun, right? Because the devil card, I have the cards here. Fortunately, we use the decks that I have on with me here. The devil card, right? This also looks like a sun, doesn't it? right? The devil, like just like any dark, it wants to return back to the light. So it creates a situation that helps us to shine the light onto the shadow so it can become integrated. And it's interesting because Marissa and I, prior to recording, we were talking about what we've been up to, and I've been doing the initiation with Lee Harris, that's been aired last month. It was well, actually, by the time we're watching this, it was throughout October, November, I believe. I'm just watching it later on. But anyway, the second part, it was about shadow work, and how the light, the shadow is a trapped light, how it contains the light. So again, there are a lot of things that are coming up to the surface that want to they want to return back to the light. So it's interesting, like how we can see all these lights here, and there is the circle. You know, we going down the rabbit hole. We are facing the shadows in order to bring the light. Bring the light. We're being guided to heal this sense of separation, in a sense, because what is devil is the choices that no longer work for us. Throughout the history of humanity, we make choices that we now outgrown, they no longer work. That's why, like in the major arcana, the devil, the chains, right? You can take the chains off, you can make a new choice, the number 6, which is the lovers. So there will be situations, you know, which will offer the key to your heart. Look, the key has the heart, right? The heart is trapped. At the moment, we are all dependent, uh, many of us depending on systems that don't necessarily have our best interest as a part of their best interest. They are not heart led, they are really mind led, right? So this is a shift that's happening for everyone, especially with the middle card, right? The Ace of Cups, you know, the heart is opening. We are starting to connect to each other and to reality in a different way, because our relationship towards oneself is changing. And that's also what with the Chiron in Taurus, in the upcoming years, we will be diving deeper into. So I do apologize, the cards are falling on the floor. Uh, I don't have the stance as Marissa has, but yeah, this was the lunar card, the boundaries. So we have the opportunity to say no to the things that no longer work for us. Redefine, like, no, I am a sovereign being. I can choose to say no to the things that are not in resonance, because things are going to be coming up. You know, this is microcosm, macrocosm, however this will play out in your own family dynamics, all of us playing roles for one another from through this family constellation, global constellation. We just playing the roles for this energy of the shadow to come up, to be integrated, so the light can shine through the shadow again, right? It needs to remember that it also came from the light. So yeah, however this is going to play out for us, you know, with the with the lights, we will be given the opportunity to choose differently, to rely on our own inner guidance, to open to the guidance of our internal system, of our heart. But this is not how many of us were being brought up and raised to be. So it will take time, the patience. Also, we still we recorded this and we're talking about Capricorn season. Capricorn is slow, right? It's the finest expression of the earth elements, right? It's the mastery of the human experience, right? Capricorn. But then it comes to the point, just like with any civilizations in the past, we had the Roman Empire and Greek Empire and before Egyptian and whatever. It comes to the time when there is an expiry date. Everything in a manifested form has an expiry date, and then the evolution continues, right? Like, I'm surprised there wasn't a tower card, but in any case, maybe that will be coming up for February, because I mean, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius after all. So it's interesting how I was tripping over my own words, right, at the beginning with the lunations and stuff, because yeah, like it's interesting because again, something that Lee mentioned Lee is one of the very few people I still listen to, because I do resonate with his messages. And they were saying, the guys that he channels, about us tuning into the cosmic time, right? Which is not really, you know, like, yes, we're still humans and we are working on a schedule, but it's more about being attuned to your own clock, right? And I know for me, for the Sagittarius new moon, one of the cards I pulled from this deck was the growth card, and the woman holding the clock, the tick-tock, right? That it's time. So obviously, however this is going to play out exactly, I do not know. but it is going to create a sense of restriction and constriction. And because we are being reborn as a humanity, as individuals and a collective, we are being reborn. And you can see all the pink, that's the higher heart chakra, right? The pink. And to me, this really does look like a lotus flower about the lady's head. We are being reborn, but you can see there is not much else, you know, we don't know. We don't know how this is going to fully express itself, this new version of ourselves. So that which is not in resonance, as I already mentioned in this video, is coming up through the situation, people, circumstances being stirred up. The ego is being triggered, right? The shadow is coming up. So we have the opportunity to open the heart. Yeah, Three of Swords was another card, and my husband pulled for the end of the month energy, and the devil was there too, but at the same time there was also Four of Wands, and then there was also Knight of Cups, you know. So it is a fast moving energy, like even though at the time still Jupiter is retrograde throughout February anyway, but we are moving through these energies very quickly. Like sometimes in a previous incarnation it would take lifetimes, now we can get all of these done very quickly. So all that said, and I'm gonna really finish now, it will take time, we know this, but and it's not clear, right? It's not clear where we're going. However, we are going, right? We are going. We already, the egg already hatched, right? It is still in a protective bubble. We are learning this new language, this new way of being, but it's already here. It's already here. The frequency of this already landed. And actually, we didn't mention, but we are recording this on the 19th, which is the day of the Sagittarius New Moon and the Free Eye Atlas, right? That's coming, I think, the closest today, right? So there is a lot of energy at play. This new moon is happening on the galactic center. So it is. It is interesting times we are living in. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Marissa recorded her spiel on her end, on her phone. So we're going to stitch it together somehow. And we are going to hop on again mid-month and see how all of these energies will have played out, at least some of them anyway, prior to Capricorn New Moon. So as it is the end of the month, Marissa is not here to say it herself, but I'm just going to say it for her. Obviously, if you would like to follow Marissa's work, I highly recommend you can join her Empowerment Pack for January. Also, she's offering the year ahead year reading, which is a wonderful gift to give to yourself and to another. And that she's got a lot of other things going on. So definitely do visit her website, Grow in the Flow, and see what else you can fetch for yourself that might help you in these crazy times. And also, if you would like to book a reading with me, then visit my website. I'm not sure exactly what day we are going to be airing this, but until January 1st, I have my Christmas sale on 25% of all my services. Also, you can have any of my readings booked with my husband as well, if you prefer the masculine energy to interact with. So anyway, guys, so this is what I got. I wish everybody happy new year whenever you're watching this. And obviously, happy holidays already happened, but you know, like it's funny to record something, pre-record something for the future in the past. So at the time of me recording this, holidays has not quite kicked off yet. So anyway, guys, have a wonderful time. Thank you for your patience. This is a little bit of an interesting video, but who knows, you know, I guess this is again a reminder, don't get too stuck in the definitions and thinking that things have to be certain way, right? Because everything is changing. So anyway, with that, I wish you all a wonderful 2026. And I'm sure it's got a lot of surprises in store for us. So I'll see you with Marissa in the next one. Much love, everyone, and bye for now.